JustHash.Me's podcast. This is going to be super rough, but we're going to try real hard. Anyways, today we've got Hash, who is an admin with JustHash. We've got Fire, who is a contributor, and Matthias, who is on our podcast team. You guys say hi.
Say
Hello.
hello.
That was super weak. And Cav didn't even say hi.
It's a good lost cover again.
No, I'm here. Did you need me to say something?
Yeah, Cav, say hi.
Hello.
All right. Well, yeah, this is our crack team of podcasters here. We're going to discuss a few topics that's happened in the recent week. Going to talk about Hotelbyte, Bitcoin Latina, that whole fiasco. Going to touch on some nodes, which, yeah, apparently we're just covering fiascos today. And then we're going to touch on Pirl. They had a small update with their Block Explorer, and anything else that our chat decides to tell us to talk about. So let's introduce ourselves real quick. Cav, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been mining crypto since 2015. Started with two Antminer U3s, computer mining Bitcoin at like 60 gigahash a piece for about 6 months, and then upgraded to an Antminer S3 when they were dirt cheap. So I've been involved with Bitcoin specifically for quite some time, keeping track of prices. And then last summer started looking at Dagger-based coins. So made the plunge and bought some GPUs and started mining Pirl specifically and ETH back in November. And then just moved up to 2 more rigs in January. So kind of exploring all the Dagger-based coins right now. And then also do a lot, starting to get more into the Equihash-based coins, and looking at GoByte now is kind of my main one that we're focused on for my NVIDIA rig. So kind of getting into that as well to kind of diversify my collection of coins. So
Awesome. All right, Fire, you're up. Give us your background.
Live in Australia. We're being told I live in Orange Dirt?
Orange Dirt,
Australia? Yeah, Orange Dirt, Australia, middle of fucking nowhere. Just have only one GPU that I actually use to game on most of the time, just an NVIDIA 1080. Started off mainly with Pirl in late December, I'm pretty sure. Slowly moving over to Z Classic, just as it's a bit more suitable for the card. Don't have a lot of mining power at all. Not a lot of hash. Not a lot of background in crypto in general.
Well, it's kind of hard to get hardware out there in Australia, is it not?
Yeah, no, there's not a lot out here. Not for anything decently priced at least.
Right. All right. Well, Matthias, you're up.
Yeah, I live in Denmark. I'm 19 years old, and I started with crypto half a year ago or so. I started mining Ethereum and a nice hash. Didn't make it long. I had my gaming GPU GTX 1060, 6 gigabyte, and I bought an RX 580 4 gigabyte like 2 months ago, and I moved over to Pirl. Now my favorite coin, and everything's good. Yeah.
I got a question for you, man. Since you're a pool owner, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
So how do you make a jump from just an initial miner to operating a pool?
Oh, that was I just wanted my own pool because I saw I was getting a lot of blocks, so like 5 on miner pool when I started. So I thought I could make more profit on my own pool.
How's that been working out for you?
Right now, not good. I got around with 430 variants or so.
I see. I mean, that's one thing that I've always been curious in is the guys that go from miners to pool ops, kind of what that transition looks like and the success rate, especially with Pirl kind of taking a dip lately. a curious idea to see and maybe talk about some other pool ops in the future, what their reasoning or justification was for getting into that. And that maybe this might be a good transition point to go start talk about Pirl if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little bit about my background real quick. I started mining Ethereum last July when my girlfriend so graciously bought me my first video card. That was actually something of worth because I fell out of the gaming scene and wanted to get back in. Anyways, I found Ethereum. I started mining with GTX 1060 6 gig, which was just absolutely painful because I wasn't making any money whatsoever. Like the minimum payout on a pool was 0.05. Anyways, I started mining that for a while, and I kind of gave up on it. And then last December, I got back into it, found Pirl, and from there, I decided that, hey, this is cool. I want to be a pool op too. And this is to touch on basically what you're talking about, how you go from a basic miner to a pool op. So I've always been fascinated by technology, and I'm always looking to learn something new. And this was my opportunity for that. So I had the opportunity to talk with Fat, and he kind of explained a little bit about setting up a pool. And I had a little bit of Linux knowledge, so it wasn't too hard. He did help me initially, with the setup. The config files were a little bit confusing. But I quickly learned that if you hadn't already started in the game, that it was going to be real tough. So instead, I just decided I was going to get rid of the pool because I didn't have any active miners. And that's when JustHash was born. It originally, was born just as a Pirl pool, but I decided I could do better things with an actual news website versus just having a pool. So now I'm working on my mining rig. I currently have my 1060, I have a 570, I've got another 580 and another 570 on the way, and I'm about to add a 480, so it's just kind of like a mixed AMD rig. Hopefully all that's online next Thursday or something like that, but yeah.
So I didn't go over my rig setup. I've got an Antminer S3 that makes approximately 3 cents a day currently. I've got 2 rigs. So I've got an AMD rig that's I have 4 580s in there and 2 570s. Card, 1060 rig, 3 gig 1060 rig that I use for the Hotelbyte.
How much is the 1060 rig making you?
Currently about $7 a day. They're all over still $1 a day per card, so I feel I'm doing pretty well still on that.
Word.
Well, Cav, is that S3 even making money enough to pay for the power?
No, not currently, but I figure Bitcoin's going to jump again at some point. I used to rent it out, and then I was breaking even on that at least. So I just plug it in and let it roll, and collect the Bitcoin, and hope someday it goes back up to 20, and I'll be good to go.
So it seems like several of us got started in altcoin with Pirl, and you were talking about touching on that. It seems that they released a new block explorer. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so Dubs, I was talking with Dubs a few days ago, and he asked me to check the block explorer out. And it's got transactions in there and all the time stuff, and it's a lot less glitchy than some of the other ones that have currently been out there. So
I'm assuming we've all used the previous block explorer, which was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that was awful.
Took hours to load anything.
Yeah, the one on Poseidon is much better. It's great interface. I highly recommend everybody use that from here forward. It works. So
yeah, I needed to put it over to my pool as well, because if I used the old one, it was going to give me an error. So yeah.
Yeah, that's if there's any pool ops that have a Pirl pool, definitely go in there, edit your configs, and use those new URLs. So, Hotelbyte, what do we know about that?
Isn't it something to tip hotel owners or what? I don't know the coin.
Isn't the objective of Hotelbyte to be a decentralized payment method for people to pretty much rent hotel rooms?
That was my understanding. So
that's what I understand as well.
Like, I think their biggest obstacle is going to be actually partnering with big hotel chains. I think one thing that they could really do that would really kick them off is to find something like Airbnb and partner with them, because I think the demographic of people that use Airbnb are going to be more apt to cryptocurrency knowledge. What do y'all think?
I know nothing about
be.
Airbnb.
So Airbnb for our foreign friends is it's a room rental service, right? So if I've got an extra room or my whole house I want to rent out, then you can do that. So the idea I think that Eli's getting at is that those individuals that are more tech savvy, more app friendly, are more inclined to use a service like Hotelbyte than my 80-year-old grandma who doesn't even know how to use a cell phone. So
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
isn't it
sure.
like Uber then, just with rooms?
yes, essentially.
Okay.
That's another good topic. Paying for rides with cryptocurrency. I don't think there's anybody that's actually pursuing that right now, is there?
Brisbane Airport here in Australia is now accepting Ethereum and Bitcoin, from my knowledge.
But nothing like
that right?
actually like a taxi or anything like that that would accept Bitcoin.
Oh, that's actually a good
No, I don't
idea.
think so.
Let's start that.
So the consideration with all currency for service things is that you have to find someone who's willing to take that risk, right? So finding a stable enough cryptocurrency to be able to justify assuming that risk is really the obstacle that all of these coins are going to have to overcome. So how do you create a coin that has a stable base, that has limited fluctuation price, right? Even Bitcoin, the granddaddy of them all, has this huge fluctuation price, in my opinion, with cryptocurrency side. So the way you overcome that is with individuals to be educated on what cryptocurrency is, understand the fluctuations, and be willing to accept that risk. And I think that really is the future, that we've got to find individuals that are out there that are willing to, that have businesses that are willing to say, you know what, I'm betting on Ethereum. I 100% take the risk that we're gonna go all in on this. Happens and they succeed, you're never going to see really any of these things take off other than just what us miners are swapping coins for goods and services. My 2 cents on that.
Okay, Kev, you're kind of cutting in and out, but I agree with what you're saying. But as far as the fluctuation goes, with all the altcoins paired with Bitcoin, I mean, if Bitcoin fluctuates, everything's going to fluctuate.
True. Well, some coins have gotten out of that, but most coins, yeah, they fluctuate with Bitcoin.
So, I mean, in order to develop the stability that we need, I mean, are we going to have to move away from Bitcoin, or what are your thoughts?
So I think Bitcoin is going to be the standard for quite some time to come. I know that a lot of coins trade in ETH pairs now, but really Bitcoin is the most well-known. It's got the most traction. It's the one that's getting the visibility on all the stock exchanges now, futures exchanges. So I think we're going to be stuck with that for a while. I think what we do need is someone to take a risk on one of the altcoins, build a platform around it. I think Pirl's kind of going in the right direction with that, but they need to just see where we're going with that.
You cut out at the last part. Could you repeat that?
So someone's got to go in, and we see where we go from there.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I follow that.
Okay, so should we talk about Bitcoin Latina now? Or?
Well, we've got 2 fiascos that we get to cover, so let's touch on nodes for a little bit. What are y'all's initial thoughts on that?
I didn't really know Node C. I heard about it. I heard that it was like an ICO that failed and such. I didn't know that goals.
I really don't know that there were actual defined goals. I don't think I ever read a white paper for nodes. Cav, was there a white paper?
There was no white paper that anyone was published. It was in working, in air quotes. But I think from what we understood of the Nodes project was that it was going to be another a competitor to Pirl as a master node based Dagger coin. So that was the plan, was that they were going to rival Pirl. Waller was a dev from the Pirl team, so he was probably taking a lot of the code that they worked on for that and using that to kind of launch nodes. And I know that they sold a bunch of coin before the mining started. And they had some issues out the gate, missing dates, and that's kind of where we started to go downhill from there.
Yeah, it was just missed. Wow, I am super tired, so I'm losing the word. It was just missed date after missed date, and I guess the community kind of ate nodes alive, more or less. But I mean, I think Daniel did right in refunding everybody. Last time that I spoke with him, he only had 2 people left that he had to refund, and he was just waiting on confirmation from those people.
Right. So, I mean, that's great that Daniel went back and refunded everybody their money. I mean, that shows that he's willing to accept the mistakes that they've made. They're not trying to be a failed coin. They're not trying to be a scam coin. So, I mean, he's building his own credibility back in the community by doing things like that, right? So if he ever comes to another project again, people say, if this fails, we'll be okay. We'll get our money back and we'll drive forward. So that's great.
Yeah, it definitely boosted his credibility, in my book at least. And I know the general speak the words. The general populace would probably have that same mindset. Does anybody else, Cap, do you have anything else on nodes?
So my big thing with nodes is that, right, if you have timelines that you're trying to set, like, you have to hit them. I mean, in crypto community, we're so fickle. Miners are so fickle when it comes to coins, right? So if we don't hit a date and you don't have a lock solid reason why you missed that date, then you've got to have a plan going forward, and you've got to hit that next date. And I think they missed like 3 dates in a row, and they're like, no, we're going to be good, right? And they missed it, and they kept missing it. And so you've got all these miners who are just chomping to get on the next new coin, gave up on them, and moved on to the next thing. And that's really what happens. And that's the unfortunate state in cryptocurrency, is that we've got a very, very few loyal customers, and a lot of people are just itching for the next thing. So
True.
Do you think that the missed dates and nodes failure shed some light on how quickly a coin can go from promising to a basic scam? And do you think miners learn from that?
I think that what we learn from the nodes is that we have to have, it was basically a playbook for how to not launch a coin, right? So the dates they missed, you looked at the lack of communication from their community mods, you looked at all of the different things that ticked off so many people that were everywhere. Where's the wallet? Just the basic things that turns into a joke at some point. And then if you're a joke coin, you stick around to watch the car wreck. I mean, and that was really why a lot of people stuck around. Nobody was there to mine anymore. It was just to watch the debacle. And I think that's why we stuck around as long as we did, just to kind of see that burn to the complete ground and then just everybody disappear, right?
Yeah. I did stick around longer because I wanted to see if Daniel would follow through and actually refund everybody. And he came through on what he said. So in my book, his credibility is back with me. From what I understand, he's working on another project as a community manager for another coin. I'm not sure. Let me take a look.
He's working on Casino Coin, I do believe.
Is he? There's another Discord that I'm in. It's Smart Node Coin, and he apparently is a community manager in there. Although I don't see a lot of activity in that Discord as far as developer updates, etc. I don't see any developers online right now, so I don't know what that's all about. But you said he's part of Athena Coin. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Casino Coin.
Oh, Casino Coin.
Oh, that's gonna be good. A new gambling coin.
Except in the U.S. where it's, well, I don't like. I think we had this conversation the other day, Cav, with cryptocurrency not being considered actual currency.
Yeah, from a legal standpoint, cryptocurrency is not the same as U.S. currency. So I think there's a giant loophole right now with the gambling aspect of cryptocurrency. I think the safest bet for anyone taking part in that going forward who's US based is to definitely not be US based when they do that, because at some point that's going to come around. But currently, there's no legal restrictions that I've been able to find that limit gambling to only US dollars. So yeah, if you want to gamble away your cryptocurrency, we create an app for that. You're more than welcome to do that with your Pearls or your ETH or whatever.
That's what I did. Not a good idea.
Yeah, I saw that Eve took most of your Pearl the other day. So
Oh nah. That's a little of what I lost. I lost 0.5 when it was like 15,000 such. Yeah, not a good idea to gamble.
So Matthias, how much in total in Pirl have you lost?
I don't know, like 20. It's not that much.
Okay, I was expecting.
in whole or what? Like with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, Litecoin, and other coins.
So that's an interesting point, right? So people don't really see cryptocurrency as money, so they are much more, apt to gamble in a way, such as our good friend down there. So, maybe we're onto something that we can kind of create a little game or something on the JustHash website where people put in their crypto and lose it away, at like some 70% loss rate. We'll be good to go.
Just make it 99. No, just make it 100. So
Well, if nobody ever wins, then nobody would play, right?
Oh,
Well,
well,
that's
I
right.
will play because I'm dumb.
You just got to keep just enough. It's like a slot machine, right? You keep them winning, a small amount every, 15, 20 minutes, or so they just keep putting more in, just keep putting more, just wait for that jackpot to hit. And then you have one of us win the jackpot, and then you're good to go.
That sounds super scammy. Are we taking a Waller
That's
course
pretty
here?
much how they work, though.
I joke, and I hope that never happens on the website.
So I've seen some ads for various decentralized applications, and one being an MMO, which is a massively multiplayer online game. Has anybody looked into that?
Nope, never heard of it.
Nope.
So apparently it's some kind of space-themed game. I think, I'm going to do some research on that, and we'll talk about that probably next week when we do this. So to finalize nodes, do we have any last thoughts?
Didn't they release all the actual code onto GitHub at some point?
So that,
As well?
I don't know if they actually did that. I do know that there have been some anonymous sources. They have to stay anonymous, and I don't know what I'm entitled to talk about. I do know that apparently Waller had taken the XF wallet client and changed up the colors and maybe a couple of icons and tried to pass it off on his own. From what I understand and what I've been told by various sources, that code never worked. So
Yeah, and on the GitHub at the moment, only the Explorer's up there, and it's been there since day one.
yeah, so I mean, I almost feel bad for Daniel because he got scammed. He got scammed by Waller, and I don't know if he ever actually looked at any code of Waller's, but I mean, Waller didn't produce anything at all, other than compiling a pre-made wallet that didn't work.
Oh well. It's history now, I guess.
So I think one thing that we could do from this is maybe create an article or talk about some things for coins that are trying to launch, ways to not tick off your community, and kind of use this as a maybe a guideline or a playbook for marketing perspective of new coins to kind of utilize the lessons learned from nodes to move forward so other coins don't fail.
I think that's a great idea. Something else that I'm just going to touch on briefly. Here in the U.S., we have a thing called the Better Business Bureau, and if you've ever been a Cav, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I'm well aware of the Better Business Bureau.
Gotcha. All right. So for the foreigners, it's basically an organization where consumers can reach out to the Better Business Bureau and make complaints about businesses, and then if they decide to, they can proceed to mitigate some kind of resolution. Something like that, I think, would benefit the cryptocurrency community. And I do know of one project that's in the works right now that's going to be something like that. I'm looking forward to some updates from the people that are behind that, and I'll reveal more information as I get it. Hopefully next week I can talk about more about that, but I think it's something that is going to benefit the industry and the community.
So the JustHash.Me website is not the complaint department for all the coins that are failing?
Unfortunately, no, it's not. But you know, and if people want to go on there and give me their thoughts on whatever coin they want to talk about, there is a forum. I invite you to openly express your opinion. I mean, I want to hear both sides of the story before I ever release any news on it. If you have bad things, good things, let me know.
I mean, if you look at our Discord currently, we're only talking about the debacles in the cryptocurrency world currently. Not that there's a lot of success currently going on with the price drips and everything else, but I think that maybe we could get on a more positive note in our Discord with our community members. That would be great.
Yeah, you can see that the debacle definitely brought a little bit more life to the Discord channel in general. And you know, I forgot who told me this, but everybody loves a good scandal. So if there's a scandal to be had, I mean, it's going to be popular.
True. Yeah.
Speaking of scandals, why don't we start talking about BCL now?
Perfect.
Let's do it.
All right, so Bitcoin Latina. This project, CEO John Gotts. Well, you know what? Whenever I upload this, I'll link the page where you can see all the team members. One you might not find on there is Tim, this Chief Technical Officer. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but this coin was basically founded to benefit the Latino community. As I understand, the foundation is registered out of Nevada for, I don't know if that's regulatory issues or if they did that because they want to be the first coin to have an SEC filing. Let's see, where should we start, Gav?
Let's start about where they pissed off some of the miners. Yeah.
Okay, so to start it off, the first news that I got about BCL. Initially, I was 100% behind BCL. I was mining it, and you know, I'm all about a good charity. If they have a cause, and they're actually going to follow through with it, I'm going to be behind that. Just like VeggieCoin, they have proof after proof of them taking their currency. Just to touch on that real quick, part of their block reward is put into a charity fund, and that charity fund goes to help animals. So they have gotten on an exchange, and they take that charity fund and they cash it out and put it towards pet food, etc., etc. Anyways,
This is VeggieCoin you're talking about currently, right?
yes, it is. So, and I just wanted to touch on that, because if a coin has a cause and they're going to follow through, then I'm going to support them 100%. Now, BCL is supposed to be for the Latino community, whether it's to increase trade in certain areas or help the Latino community, children to go into college. It's supposed to be for all that. So we've all been mining this, or at least most of us have, anyways. And it came to a point where miners wanted a way to exchange the coin to help pay for the electricity costs. John Gotts BitShares. That was the whole way to. I'm losing my train of thought here. So the only way to exchange Bitcoin Latina was going to be on BitShares, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cav. You have to send BCL to What was it initially? You have to. No, it was the bonus. Okay, yeah, it was the bonus that he was sending out to miners to help them pay for electricity. Either way, one of the miners had taken his bonus and sold it for BitShares, and John just absolutely lost his mind. And he sent this user an email stating that he was bad for the community.
We can link that in the description as well.
Yeah, that'll be in the description to the article. And from that moment, it absolutely ticked off the mining community. And it just snowballed from there.
Yeah.
So my question is why was he upset that the miner took the shares that he was awarded, basically a bounty, and sold them? What was the justification, the reason he gave for that?
From my understanding, it didn't even cause a price dip, from what I understand. But that was my initial understanding, that it was the price dip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I got told as well.
Let me pull up the article real quick.
So if a miner receives a bounty and isn't allowed or is not encouraged to utilize those funds as they see fit, then in my opinion, that coin has some serious management issues.
Yes, exactly. And I guess that's why he bailed out of the team website thing, and or he's still a part of it probably. And yeah, I think it's just to get people to stop hating on the coin. But yeah, it has lost. It can regain itself, but by giving a public sorry or whatever, probably not gonna happen though.
So this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? So if you have a coin that you're trying to promote amongst the community, crypto community as a whole, you cannot do things that are going to generally tick off your miners, right? So the state of how fickle the mining community is, pissing people off, that's going to spread like wildfire, and you're going to lose the whole backing of your coin, right? So all coins require miners to be able to be viable. They put hash power towards your coin. Where you start pissing people off, that's not going to be very beneficial, and you're just going to start this kind of death spiral where you lose miners, you lose support, and crap about your coin, and it just ends, right? So is that really the vibe we want to put out there? I think these managers of these coins, they don't understand. They are, and I don't understand that. I think that would be an interesting conversation to have if that's a consideration.
Yeah, definitely. And just to touch on as far as the backlash that happened after Mr. Gott sent out that email, and then the user posted a screen cap of it in Discord. Everybody lost their mind in Discord. So much so that they kind of had a rebellion on their hands, and that basically led to them shutting down their Discord.
If you get to the point where it's that drastic, where you have to shut down your Discord, your main source of communication with the crypto community, that's a significant issue, right? So how are people going to find you now? How are people going to talk about all the good work you're doing now? So that's not good at all.
Well, that's the thing. After they've always had a Telegram open, from what I understand, and nobody was active on their Discord. Admins, Oz, which is John Gotts, would pop in occasionally and make an announcement or something like that, but everybody always remained on Telegram. And after they shut down the Discord, they made the announcement that they've flown over to Telegram.
But you're just running away from one communication platform to another. I mean, the bad vibes are going to follow you if you have a bad, if your attitude, just a generally bad attitude for your coin. So,
and that's the thing. Like, whenever I joined the Telegram after they shut down the Discord, nobody could question anything that got said or did without getting banned. That raises a serious concern with me.
It is a problem. Because if you can give someone Yeah, if you can't, what's it called? I'm looking for the word. Yeah, say something bad about a coin or the person in general, and the one of the, what is he again? He's like a general technical something. If you can't handle it, then he's not meant to be a part of a community that made a coin.
I don't think that they can't handle it. I think that it's more about the fact that they don't have the answers that they're looking for. So if you don't have the answers, you don't want to sound like an idiot. Then you just get the banhammer.
True. Yeah.
And it's I don't think you should what's the word? Well, I don't think you should restrict anybody from criticizing your coin. Some of the best ways to learn is through criticism, and I don't think that John Gotts takes criticism very well. He just can't handle it. So his immediate reaction is to ban you. We can see that in the form of Pistol voicing her opinion, whether it be her opinion be heated. Maybe it was, but still.
Yeah, it was an opinion, and you should not like turn down an opinion, because it's a free roll. It's a free world.
So I think what we're getting at here, folks, is that if you are interested in launching a coin and would looking for some sage advice on how not to run your coin, the team here at JustHash.me is an excellent source of information.
Really, it is. Or we are. One thing I'd like to touch on, I had the opportunity to speak with Crypto Duke. He is, I believe, a community manager for Pirl.
Yes, he is.
The guy is a wealth of information, and we got to talking about BCL, and one of the things that I wanted to touch on real quick is that we talked about the downfalls that BCL is having, and one of the things that really bothers me is while John Gotts was basically put on a leash for 24 hours, more or less. Maybe not. Maybe he just went radio silent for a little bit. The thing that brought hope to a lot of miners is that their CTO Tim had stepped in. The guy is very well versed. He can speak very well, and he mitigated some of the discourse, the anger from the mining community, and it wasn't but it was probably less than 24 hours. Suddenly John Gotts popped back into the scene, and Tim is nowhere to be found, and everything that Tim had worked for is just gone. Pistol was banned from the Telegram again, and every miner that was angry at him before is now angry at him again. I say all that to say this: there's some internal struggle in BCL, whether that be between the CEO and the CTO or what, but that internal struggle is going to end up killing that currency.
I completely agree.
So when you're putting together your team, right, for coin development, you've got to take into factor personalities, right? So some people should have speaking roles and some people should not. And that's got to be something. You really need a lead person on your coin to kind of take the reins and manage it. I think that the way Dubs kind of manages his team at Pirl is an excellent example of that. Everybody has their piece they talk on. Everybody understands their role. And if they don't know, they have an answer for you, they always reference you back to Dubs. I think that's the way that coins should go forward. Look at that example where everybody's just saying whatever going forward.
And they also shouldn't be afraid of getting rid of someone if they have issues, as when Pirl got rid of Waller.
I agree. And one thing that I think should happen, this is just my personal opinion, if Bitcoin Latina is to succeed, they need to get rid of John Gotts. He can hype all he wants. He can talk all the crap he wants. He's not good for that project. And I think
exactly.
I think if Tim were to step forward and be the public face of BCL, they would get a lot farther.
Yeah, they would get out of the shithole that they have taken themselves into, at least.
When all this started, I was absolutely angry and admittedly a little bit biased towards BCL because they, were attacking my friends. Tim almost had me to the point where I was like, okay, well, all this just, got out of hand and we should just, drop it and move forward. But unfortunately, I guess John, pulled Tim's leash back and basically put him in the closet. I've not heard from Tim in, 48 hours, something like that. So I don't know if they made him sign an NDA and he's not allowed to speak on the project anymore or what's going on. But it's basically all John Goss right now.
Coins have NDAs. Is that a real thing?
I really don't know. I guess it would apply on anything, but it was just my assumption that maybe he did sign an NDA and he's no longer allowed to speak to anybody about BCL.
Listen, I mean, I like cryptocurrency just as much as the next guy, and especially, all coins. But the point where you start talking about secret Squirtle stuff with cryptocurrency makes me very, very concerned.
I agree. And, they made the announcement on Bitcoin Talk, and it didn't go over as well as I think John Goss thought it would. I don't see a massive amount of replies to their thread saying, oh, all hail BCL. There's been some criticism on there. I think they hired a member of BCT to make the announcement for them. Does anybody know about that?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Because I don't know that the original poster of that announcement is a member of the BCL team. I may be wrong.
So I think the true test going forward is they're going to wash the diff, right? Wash the hash power put towards the coin and see which way it goes. Because that's going to be the true test of how this all falls out.
Well, that's another thing. Apparently, they're wanting to move away from the chain and move to EOS by June. So I don't know if they're going to keep the blockchain alive or if somebody's just going to come take it over. Or, what are y'all's thoughts?
I think they said that they were going to just leave it to the miners and they were going to transfer things over to the exchange through tokens. I'm not entirely sure about that one.
So speaking of that, what are your thoughts on the fact that it all has to manually go through? Well, it was initially going through John Goss. You had to actually send him the information of what coins that you were going to transfer, and he would manually process the transaction. So far, from what I hear, everything has gone fine. But, initially, that really threw up a red flag to me.
So
Yeah, that's sketchy.
So this goes against the whole purpose of the secrecy of cryptocurrency, right? The whole idea that you can be anonymous with crypto, right? So if I'm sending from my username and I'm linking that to my account to do a transaction, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? So why are we doing that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, use an exchange and let your miners do use their coins how they want.
I guess he just wants control, I guess.
Micromanagement.
Yeah. What can you do now?
So that's really what the big, all this whole coin comes back to that, right? You have one individual who wants to complete and total control over price, over who sells when, over how they sell it. That's not a decentralized currency, right? That's a dictatorship currency.
Yeah. Any other topic?
So we did get one topic from the community that they want to discuss. Like one question that was brought up was, what are the most important things when choosing what to mine and how to avoid traps like the BCL debacle?
Firstly, you gotta research into the coin and see if there's any red flags, anything super sketchy, or if it's generally good.
So what would be some of the red flags and how do you research a coin?
For me, go ahead, Matthias.
Yeah, it's cool.
Go ahead.
I normally go look at the white paper or roadmap if they have it, and see if there's any red flags, and see if there's anything like that doesn't match up with what it should be.
So how do you know what it should be? All right. So we've got new listeners on, or maybe this would be the first time we're getting a cryptocurrency. How would you, guide someone through that research process to find out what is successful, what's potentially going to be successful versus what's not?
I would if it was an ICO, you would look at if the coin's actually worth something. Well, I'm lost. Okay, someone take over.
Well, for me, I look at a few aspects of it. One, if we're past the ICO stage and they're actually offering a chain to mine, I look for a white paper. They have to have a white paper. By then, they should have a white paper and some general, roadmap of where they're going. I looked for, community backing. Do they have investors that are actively on their Discord channel or wherever they decide to do communication? I like to look at developer activity. Is their GitHub active? Is there constantly or consistent commits to the Git? Things like that you really need to be on the lookout for. All that will point you in the right direction. That's just my opinion.
So for me, I don't really read white papers or the roadmaps as often as I probably should, but I get involved with the Discords and the Telegram chats for most of these coins. So for me, it's about community vibe and feeling. Like and that's why I'm a big fan of Pirl, because the community is great. Everybody's willing to help you out. Everybody's willing to put in their 2 cents for what's going right, what's going wrong, and we just talk there, right? Same thing with GoByte and some other coins. Ella is really another good one that there's a good community on. But that, to me, that's the true test of a coin, right? Do you have a community behind you that supports you? And if you don't, that raises red flags for me. And if you do, great. I'm all in. I'm going to research your coin and listen and hear what you have to say.
I mean, essentially, if you don't have a community, you don't have a coin, because with any Ethereum hash or any hash really, you have to have miners. And without miners, what are you?
Right, anybody can write a white paper. Anybody can write a roadmap. I mean, I could copy 3 different coins and merge them together and make one, and then we could launch a coin today. Right? Really, we could just put together a new Dagger coin today and launch it, but it wouldn't mean anything, right? We wouldn't have anybody behind us. So how do you develop that community? How do you build that network of trust?
That's a good question, and not being a developer myself, or being able, I probably could launch a coin, but not being in that specific situation. I mean, anybody have any thoughts on how you would actually develop a community other than getting your ICO out there if you're going to offer an ICO?
Well, probably Bitcoin Talk.
Okay, yeah, you could put an announcement out on Bitcoin Talk. What else?
Actually do something with it. If you can prove to people that you're doing something, then actually going at this, say using VeggieCoin for the example there, proved that they're actually helping feed animals. They're doing something with all the coins they're getting. If you can prove that, that helps build a community.
That's exactly it, right? So that's the lesson we learned going back to the notes thing, right? Is if you don't have a blockchain to mine, you don't have a wallet, you don't have a coin.
Exactly. Well, guys, we've got 10 minutes. Let's use this to wrap up the podcast. And do we have any final thoughts on everything that we've talked about so far?
No, I don't.
So I think in all seriousness, though, if we are talking about trying to help people with their coin launches and trying to help build communities, that we can definitely take the lessons learned that we've talked about today and kind of utilize that to put something together to kind of guide new people who are trying to put together coins and say, hey, listen, if you do these things, you're going to have trouble, right? So look at other coins that have failed. Don't make those mistakes, and you will have a greater chance of success than those that have come before you. And that's how crypto grows, right? We learn from the mistakes of the past. We are constantly trying to push forward. To me, it sounds like if you have a coin that has a cause that is mineable and has community managers that care over that 50% mark time and time again to be successful.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, me too.
One thing I want to touch on is the Pirl giveaway. We are giving away a Pirl t-shirt, a mug, and a mouse pad. And if you want to get in on that we have about 3 days left on that. You can go to JustHash.Me, and it's going to be on the right-hand side. You can find that post and how to enter. By the way,
And everyone in this podcast get one free, isn't that right?
yeah, you're gonna have to talk to Cav about that. He's the man behind the merch.
I will say, if you don't win the giveaway, there we do have some small merchandise that is also available to help us with this podcast and with our whole site. So if you want to help support what we're doing here, that would be a great way to do that.
Speaking of Cav, I need to send you a design because I want a JustHash.Me t-shirt.
It's easy enough to do.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, does anybody else have anything before we go?
For the next one, the next podcast that we do, is there any chance that we could make it live so other people can listen into it?
Yes, we can. I'm actually since we use OBS to record everything, I can actually stream this out to Twitch or some other platform. So if there's enough people that actually want to hear us live, let me know, and I will get on that. One thing I wanted to say. This goes back to what Cav was talking about with developers on what not to do when launching your coin. If y'all have any questions, we come from a miner's point of view. We've done a lot of mining. We've seen coins fail. If you want any advice at all, we're always approachable. Don't be afraid to PM me on Discord. The same with new miners. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to come into the Discord. And ask questions. Nobody's going to make fun of you for being a new miner. We were all there at one point. So, yeah, any help you need, definitely let us know, and we're an open book. All right, guys. If nobody has anything else, I appreciate everybody that's listened thus far. We'll see you next week. Cav, you going to be here?
I will be here with bells on.
With bells? What?
Yeah, it's a saying that you're eager to show up and participate. So,
well, I guess from the South, I've never heard that before. So I guess I'm just a dumb honky.
Well, I'll send you some bells.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
See yous.
See ya.